Some might think it very odd for Lord Peake, the Hand of the King, to send off the largest fleet in the Seven Kingdoms to the Sunset Sea, whilst war with Braavos threatened and was a genuinely real possibility. Unwin Peake and the royal fleet had been recalled from Tarth, while Sir Alyn and Velaryon fleet headed for the Sunset Sea to deal with the Iron Men. Sir Unwin Peake and the royal fleet had been recalled from Tarth to the Gullet to guard the entrance to Blackwater Bay should the Braavosi seek retaliance against King's Landing, but other ports and cities up and down the narrow sea remained vulnerable to attack, so the King's Hand dispatched fellow regent Lord Manfred Moulton to Braavos to treat with the Sealord and return his captured elephant that Alan Oakenfist had gifted to King Aegon. 6 other noble lords accompanied him, along with 70 knights, guardsmen, servants, scribes and septons, 6 singers, and for some bizarre reason, the Full Mushroom, who claims he supposedly hid in a wine cask to escape the gloom of the Red Keep and find a place where men remembered how to laugh. Braavos is the wealthiest and oftentimes likely the most powerful of the 3 cities across the Narrow Sea. It's located in a lagoon on the northwestern end of Essos, where the Narrow Sea and the Shivering Sea meet. This prime location has made the city a key trading port for any trader running goods up and down the Narrow Sea. Braavos is also known as Braavos of the 100 Isles and the Secret City, a name also attributed to the city in Nefer, the last remaining city of Nagai. Braavos is sometimes also referred to as the bastard daughter of Valyria, being founded by escaped slaves of the Freehold, whom hid in the lagoon to hide from the dragons searching for them above. Over time, they developed the swampy lagoon into the canaled city of Braavos. Due to the people of Braavos being the descendants of slaves of the Valyrian Freehold, the city is diverse in its culture and people. This only became more evident as the city became a popular port for trading, bringing in even more new cultures and people to the already diverse city. In Braavos, you were likely to be able to meet someone from any far-off place in the known world, from a shy by the shadow to the Iron Islands. As a result, unlike Westeros, where the Faith of the Seven is the dominant and most widely practiced religion, they say 1,000 different gods are worshipped in Braavos, each with their own temple and a place of respect among her people. Perhaps the biggest influence Braavos has over Westeros comes from the Iron Bank, the richest bank in the world, whom has the financial power to bring down dynasties, fund countless wars and influence politics all over the world in their own favour. Even a dynasty such as the Dragon Lords of House Targaryen have used the bank to fund their wars, and in the case of Jaehaerys, infrastructure projects. And while the Iron Bank has tended to stay out of Westerosi affairs on the large part, after the Dance of the Dragons and then the Dying of the Dragons as a result, the Iron Bank now find it had much more influence over the goings-on of the Seven Kingdoms. Some may have also feared at the time that with the loss of the dragons, the Iron Bank push for their repayments of the Crown's debts that little bit harder and more brazenly than before. Should that situation have arisen, in the end it would have been the small folk whom would have bore the brunt of the burden through more heavy taxation, something Lord Unwin Peake wanted to avoid along with the threat of war with the Free City. As shown throughout their long history, the Braavosi were pragmatic people, for theirs is a city of escaped slaves, where 1,000 false gods are honoured, but only gold is truly worshipped. Profit means more than pride amongst the 100 Isles. Upon arrival, Lord Moulton and his companions marvelled at the Titan and were taken to the fabled arsenal to witness the building of a warship, completed in a single day. We already have replaced every ship that your boy admiral stole or sank, the Sealord boasted to Lord Moulton. Having thus demonstrated the power of the Braavosi at sea, he was more than willing to be placated. Whilst he haggled with Lord Moulton over terms of peace, Lord Sealord and Creasy spread lavish bribes among the city's keyholders, magisters, priests and merchant princes. In the end, in return for a very sizable peace deal, Braavos forgave Lord Velaryon's unwarranted transgressions, agreeing to dissolve her alliance with Tyrosh and break all ties with Rancalia Rhydun, and thus cede the stepstones to the Iron Throne. But since the islands were held by Rhydun and the Pentoshi at the time, the Sealord had in fact sold something that he did not own. But this was not unusual in Braavos. The mission to Braavos proved eventful in other ways as well. Lord Sealord became enamoured of a Braavosi courtesan and elected to remain close to her rather than return to Westeros. Sir Herman Rollingford was killed in a duel by a Braavo who took offence of the colour of his doublet, and Sir Denny Hart supposedly engaged the services of the mysterious Faceless Men to kill a rival back in King's Landing, the Full Mushroom asserts. The Fool himself so amused the Sealord that he received a handsome offer to remain in Braavos. I do confess that I was tempted. In Westeros my wit is wasted, capering for a king who never smiles, but in Braavos they would have loved me too well, I fear. Every courtesan would want me, and sooner or later a Braavo would take umbrage at the size of my member and prick me with his little pointy dwarf skewer. So back to the Red Keep Mushroom scurried, and more fool me. So it came to pass that Lord Mouton returned to King's Landing with peace in hand, but at grievous cost. The huge peace deal demanded by the Sealord so depleted the royal treasuries that Lord Peake soon found it necessary to borrow from the Iron Bank of Braavos just so the crown might pay its debts, and that in turn required him to reinstate a certain number of Lord Calthagard's infamous taxes that Sir Tyland had abolished, which angered lords and merchants alike and weakened his support greatly amongst the small folk.